Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us to talk through the West Main Revitalization Project. My name is Scott Murphy. I'm the city engineer responsible for a lot of our larger capital projects. We've been working on this one for several months now, running through a lot of the design study elements. So the right-of-way research and survey and utility research, traffic studies, things of that sort. Now that we've gotten through those, we kind of have an idea of what might be possible here. So we're ready to unveil it to the public and get feedback from residences, motorists, and businesses along the corridor. So thanks for joining us. I will mute myself here just so we can see a little better and dive into it. So today I was going to just give a quick overview of the project and what we're trying to accomplish with it. Talk through some of the funding partnerships. This project's being made possible by a generous contribution from CDOT. Run through kind of the meat and potatoes of the traffic studies. There's a lot of detail to those, so I'll hit on them generally, and we do have additional information available on the website. And then run through kind of initial thoughts on a conceptual design, and then go into the public feedback and timeline of the project for implementation. And what you see here is a picture of West Main and its western end west of Grand, and its kind of typical 4-lane configuration. So the project extents, they run from right now, a lot of Main Street has been kind of improved and streetscaped up to Sea League. This project will take it from Sea League to the West Main trailhead. This reach of Main Street is, for the most part, kind of in its auto-oriented configuration, not the most pedestrian-friendly or business-friendly for that matter. And we've had a lot more improvements down here on the river. With the Fire Riverway Trail, Connect Trail Underpass, West Main Trailhead sees a lot of activity. So we do have a lot of interest in getting people connected from where they are to where they want to be as far as those recreational opportunities. And then also just creating a more vibrant atmosphere for downtown. So the primary goal is to create ADA compliant sidewalks that are wider. Right now, a lot of them are 3 to 4 feet wide and have cross slopes that just plain would not work and are not passable with a wheelchair. We do want bicycle accommodation, so we have a lot of requests, and through our comp plan, a lot of people are interested in something beyond just a car. So having bike lanes available for those who would like to use them. And then obviously with all that comes improved pedestrian safety. Instead of trying to chance it on a narrow sidewalk, actually having a comfortable place, a more vibrant downtown to walk through. With this comes the opportunity for improved aesthetics. So right now it's kind of a concrete jungle, not a lot of landscaping. The word they use is streetscaping. So it's a combination of, or landscaping of a street, more or less. And so there are opportunities that present themselves there that we'll dive into. And then, with all that also comes hopefully a more inviting, business-friendly atmosphere that makes it so people want to be there. And more likely to support our local downtown businesses and help them thrive. With this, we do have some old water lines through here that are undersized and near the end of their life or past the end of their life. And so that we'll use this opportunity while we're in there, turn up the street to also replace the water lines so that they're good to go for another 50+ year life, and also to help improve fire flow and hydraulics in the area. Another kind of unique element of this project too is this is, we call it West Main Street, but it is State Highway 90. So it is controlled by CDOT. They ultimately have the say on what can and can't be done on their highway. That being said, they are very open to improving the corridor and making it more of an urban setting. Ultimately, they'll just need to make sure that whatever we do maintains their needs for traffic flow and efficiency. As I alluded to earlier, this project is mostly being made possible by our grant partnership from the Colorado Department of Transportation. It kind of started as COVID recovery dollars. They allocated $30 million statewide as part of this Revitalizing Main Streets program. And the director of CDOT actually came out for a tour before we applied for this grant, looked at our West Main and strongly encouraged that we apply. we did, and we were awarded the $2 million. In addition to that, the city will be contributing about $1 million towards the city water line replacements and additional $500,000 towards the actual street improvements. So gives us overall $3.5 million budget to work from. Saying it sounds like a lot, but when it comes to street improvements, especially on a busy road with a lot of traffic control, this will give us a great backbone to work from, and we'll set it up so that we can continue to expand on these efforts in the future. But there obviously will remain work to be done. One that comes to mind is like the Chipeta intersection. That's a county intersection that will eventually become a roundabout, most likely. This won't go that far. We're stopping at the West Main trailhead, but just kind of helps set us up so we can keep chipping away at it and improving West Main. If you did want more information on the Revitalizing Main Streets program, it's a pretty large state effort. I think they allocated another 85 million after that initial 30 million investment at the state. So additional opportunities may be coming as well. But you can Google CDOT Revitalizing Main Streets, and you can learn more information on that. So the first thing we wanted to do on the project is really get our heads wrapped around what is possible from a traffic standpoint. So that was the way to do that is a traffic study. So we looked at the whole corridor because what is done on West Main affects East Main. And if there's certain ideas or things that want to be implemented there, they may look at implementing road diets and things of that sort on the eastern side as well. So we wanted to model the whole corridor to know what would be possible. So this picture you're seeing here shows all the intersections that were studied, and you can see which ones are signalized and which ones are stop controlled. But ultimately, we need to look at traffic, look at future traffic, and make sure that what we're doing is going to work. We don't want to trade, one problem for another. Yeah, we've made pedestrian safety better, but we've created a traffic nightmare. That's absolutely not what we want to do. So we want to strike that balance between all of them and make sure that we're making good informed decisions on how we configure the roadway. So the models look at the existing configuration, see how it performs, and then we start looking at various lane configurations to see how they do. We do that for both the present and the future condition. So for present, you're obviously just going out and measuring existing traffic volumes, adjusting for seasonality, things of that sort. For the present day, and then for the future, we're trying to project growth. So the way to do that, multiple data sources for looking at baseline growth and how the general traffic pattern will pick up, but we also take into account likely development areas. So, things that come to mind in this area, let me see if I can get my marker to work here. We have Colorado Outdoors right here, filling out 100. Marker is not working, but hopefully you can see my pointer. So just north of here, north of Beach Lane, there's 165 acres of mixed use development going in at Colorado Outdoors. That'll be a pretty significant traffic generator. So we want to make sure that that's accounted for. Long range, going back to this slide here, Rio Grande will connect through, or is planned to connect through down to River Landing, down by Target. So that kind of creates this as a, Western Belt route to Townsend. When that happens, you'll see a pretty significant uptick in traffic on Grand Avenue. And then we also have, known developments coming in and likely west of the river, and make sure we're accounting for all those and all those traffic contributions. When you put all of that together, you end up with a lot of traffic on Main Street, and, with river crossings and the hogback in the way, it's about the only place for the traffic to go. So you need to plan for all that large growth on both Grand and Main Street, and make sure that's accounted for in the design. Kind of to put it into perspective, the long range won't be as much as Townsend, but approaching it volume wise, when you're looking 20, 30 years out, just to give you a feel for how much traffic that would need to be accommodated as we go into the future. With those studies, they also look at collision reports and statistics, look for kind of unique anomalies, consistent patterns of traffic accidents and things that may be identifiable that can be incorporated into the design to try and mitigate some of those. And yeah, so the traffic study is available. The detailed report, if you want to get into the weeds on it, is available online. We'll post it with the documents on the project's webpage, which if I hadn't mentioned it yet, is cityofmontrose.org/West Main. And I'll go into that page a little bit more here in a bit too. So getting into the results of the traffic studies. So, currently both reaches of Main Street, so everything from Seelig to the West Main Trailhead is 2 lanes, 2 through lanes in each direction. Going into this project, there was a lot of feedback during the comp plan and some feedback from downtown businesses of the concept of a road diet, which is essentially when you eliminate a lane. So you trade the outer lane for improved or wider bike lanes, sidewalks, seating areas. This is a picture of Delta. They just did one through their corridor to see or to kind of trade, have more business and pedestrian focus, less vehicle focused. And I'll go into for the most part, that's not possible on this project, and we'll go into that. But if you model it now, that works. You have additional delay, it kind of works for the current volumes, but once you get into the future volumes and throw those larger volumes we anticipate on both of these corridors, it really starts to fall apart, and you essentially get to gridlock. So it's not something we'll be recommending with this project. And the major issue becomes the intersections. And so, with Grand and Main right in the middle of this project, you need those turn lanes, need that stacking area in order to make those intersections efficient and get those volumes through the intersection. This picture again is what they just did in Delta. They were able to do that and do the road diet through the downtown portion, the core portion, because they don't have any major intersections. If you notice, once they get back to the intersection of Highway 50 and 92 in Delta, it opens back up to the full configuration. Kind of a similar deal here. They also have the bypass, so that also plays into what they are able to do volume-wise. So what we're looking at that does work as far as the traffic modeling shows is the 3-lane or the 2-lane, a through lane in each direction with the center turn or with center turn lane or landscape islands. It actually does work west of Grand. Once you get past the intersections kind of influence area and all of its stacked lanes, it is possible. We still have unique considerations for the integration with the Chipeta intersection and its merge and everything. But for a couple blocks there, there's not a lot of demand for on-street parking. There is some, and I'll go into that. But for the most part, the 3-lane configuration can work once you get west of Grand. So that's something we're looking at for this project. Between Grand and Seelig, you just plain need the lanes. And so we're looking at still maintaining 2 through lanes in each direction, center turn lane. And fortunately, there's not a lot of on-street parking demand. There is some, and we're looking to accommodate that. But for the most part, we are looking at being able to eliminate the shoulders, which are currently just kind of underutilized, pushing out the curb a little bit. So we're able to widen the sidewalks, add a landscaping strip through the boulevard area, bike lanes, and still maintain the same widths for the through lanes and the center turn lane. So here's kind of some renderings of what those look like in cross section. I will introduce, or let me show you at the open houses. We'll have this too, but these are also available on the website. Let me share kind of concept drawing. I'll just run through this really quick. It's really hard to see at this scale on the presentation. Yep, looks like it's working. So, like I mentioned, as you come off of Seelig here, all those lanes stay the same. You still have the dedicated turn lane. It merges before West Main Trailhead. And then once you get into West Main Trailhead, that's when we're looking at 3-lane configuration, a through lane in each direction and a center turn lane with the green here are the landscape boulevards. And we just, show those as green all the way across. Obviously, there will be breaks at all the driveways for all the businesses. In places where we have observed demand for on-street parking, we've preserved that parking. So here in front of 242 West Main is a good example. You can take out the landscaping, put back in parking. These are some of the feedbacks we'd like to get as we go into this, is definitely what businesses would rather have landscaping or prefer parking or need that on-street parking. So that stays kind of the same through the heart of the businesses there. And then as you get back to Grand, it typically opens up kind of in its existing configuration again, because all those turn lanes are needed. And so no real major changes to the Grand and Main intersection, just because of the long-term capacity that's needed. And then as you get back east of Grand, going up to Seelig, again, able to take out some of the parking, turn it into landscaping. So you'd have landscaped strips here, wider sidewalks, and then tie back into the existing improvements there at Seelig. So again, kind of hard to see on this presentation. I just wanted to make you aware that it was there. That is available online. It's a PDF that you can zoom in and out of. And if you come to the open houses, we'll also have copies of those. And if you want to stop by Public Works, we can also, or have any meetings, we can have printouts of that to show. So going back to the presentation here. So this is kind of where the public input piece comes in. So, we think the traffic studies more or less drive what is possible. We've taken a pretty conservative route to not really mess with a lot of the through lanes and a lot of the stacking at the intersections. But kind of a pretty clean slate when it comes to the landscaping and the beautification elements of this project. And so that's where most of our flexibility lies. We're really interested in the public's feedback on obviously the traffic stuff, the parking stuff. If you see things that we're not seeing, we'd love to hear that. But we'd also love people's feedback on how we make this kind of their own when it comes to the neighborhood. So the comprehensive plan identified this whole section of Main Street as its own unique character area. They've done some previous character studies as well. And again, it gives us a clean slate to kind of make this what we want. It doesn't necessarily need to match the rest of downtown. And so, a lot of options when it comes to the boulevard areas. If we, want to go xeriscape style or, historic style with various art and historic elements throughout, obviously planter islands, things of that sort. On the web page and at the open houses, we have some boards with ideas of kind of starting points for some of the landscaping and streetscaping elements. But the sky is the limit. So if residents have areas of, I've been to downtown wherever and I really like the look and feel of this, let us know, because those are the kind of things we can start. This will just be the beginning of the streetscaping element. We'll kind of get this initial feedback, see what people are interested in, and really start have a lot more outreach centered around how we the character that this project is going to bring to this portion of town. And so, we hope to meet with the public, meet with individual businesses, understand, where parking demands are, and what options or things they'd like to see as far as look and feel of the area. And so, again, our webpage, citymontrose.org/westmain, that'll actually bring you, it's a hyperlink to our Moving Montrose Forward capital projects webpage area. But on there, you can shoot us an email. My email and phone number are here. You can set up an individual appointment with us to sit down and talk through any feedback you have or considerations you'd want us to make sure that we're aware of as we go deeper into the design. And then we have a couple open houses as well that the dates are posted and they'll be on social media and things of that sort. But as far as the project overall, again, this is a CDOT grant project, so there's a lot more permitting and approvals that need to take place. If all of that comes together, we're looking to start the fall of 2023. You notice that's a very large and bold if. So, just nature of the beast these days, sometimes things take longer with reviews and staffing issues and things. So we're hopeful that we would be starting the fall of 2023. If we do, we would be finishing most likely third quarter of 2024. Then obviously when we get closer to construction, we'll have a lot of outreach about traffic impacts, and we'll work to make sure all business access is maintained and things of that sort. So more details to come on that. But at this stage, we're really just kind of just getting into the design and the footprint. It's a great time to steer it a lot of different ways depending on the feedback of the public. So we'd love to hear from you. And again, that's my cell there. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call at any time. And we appreciate you taking the time to watch this presentation.